There we go.
There you
Wah, wah.
go.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our webinar today. I'm really excited because the topic is very exciting. I'm interested to learn more about what personality selling is. But also what's exciting is if you haven't met Jen Lee, who no relation to me, even though we both have a lot of spunk, as you'll see, and we both have curly hair. No relation, but she's super fun. So it should be a fun 45 minutes or an hour. So I'm really looking forward to it. Before we get started, I just wanted to, if you have to hop off, no problem. We will be recording the webinar and it will be on our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to see the recording there. But if you have any questions, please ask them along the way. If you're having troubles, in the upper right-hand corner of where you're watching it, you'll see that there's an area where the comments and the chats are. If you're having any problems, you'll need to make sure you're logged in, and YouTube is very controlling, and they also want to make sure you have a channel. So if you don't have one yet, you may have to do it, and it is literally just like a 5-second step. So it's not something to worry about. But this is how you do it. You click on your little pretty face up in the circle, and then you're going to do my channel, and then you're going to put your name in and press create channel. So without further ado, hold on, I'm going to stop sharing. And then
Hopefully I didn't press something wrong.
What's that?
I said, I hope I didn't just press something wrong. I was clicking around.
Yes. And so here is the lovely Jen Lee. Jen, take it away from here.
Hi, everybody. First off, Steph, can you see my big PowerPoint slide?
I can. It's like 2 gens. It's a lot to take in.
Sorry, the hair's better in the picture than it is in person. Hello, everybody. I'm Jen Lee, VP of Sales and Marketing for Travel Planners International, otherwise known as the most obsessed with your success in the industry. I joined the industry just 4 short years ago. I'd never been in the travel industry before, only knew how to like book my Delta flight. That's it. Prior to joining the industry, I think it's important for people to understand I had my own small business consulting practice where I worked with a bunch of entrepreneurs in a variety of different industries. And many of the tips and strategies that I share to our advisors here at TPI and in the open world like we are today come from a multitude of industries. And I think that's important to understand because that means you're not alone. It's not just you that struggles with some of the same things that an insurance broker struggles with, a website designer struggles with, somebody who owns a barber shop. I mean, everybody who is an entrepreneur and is in a selling position struggles with some of these similar things. So I love talking about this particular topic because it's all about how to never hear the word no again. And it's not just good in business, but I use this in my personal life. So trust me when I tell you, once you have mastered this, personality selling, you will find that you are using it in a lot more ways than just trying to get the credit card for a $30,000, Regent Seven Seas trip. So are you excited, Steph? Are you ready to hear the secret sauce?
Well, I'm feeling like this title slide should be never hear no again, how to do manipulation instead of
well, it is a bit of brainwashing. People do ask me that all the time. Seems like this is brainwashing and manipulation, and it isn't. It's just being cognizant that 75% of the people that you're talking to, you've probably pissed off along the way or turned off, which is even the worst thing, have turned off along the way because you did not adjust to their personality. So let me get started and then we can get into.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Good. I hope everyone can see me because I'm staring at it saying hello to everybody. All right. So here's what we're going to do today in the next 45 minutes to an hour. And it really just depends on how many questions you guys have. And I challenge you to type in your questions or to ask those questions. Challenge me on everything because I love a good challenge. So step 1, we're going to identify the 4 basic personality types. Now, if anybody's been in corporate America, you've probably taken some Myers-Briggs test where you're like an A, B, C, D, E, the DISC, DISC, there's all kinds. But basically, basically all of us kind of fall into one major personality type that tends to be the type that we make decisions on, right? That's kind of our lead dog in it. We have a little bit of all four, but most notably, we usually have one. So we're going to identify the four different personality types that are out there. We first have to discover who you are. And I already know who you are, Steph. Hands down, I already know. I'm not even going to tell you.
You know what my personality type is?
I already know it, girl. I'm not
in Myers-Briggs.
Huh?
In Myers-Briggs?
No, in this
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I can't remember Myers-Briggs. This is so much easier. Then we're going to determine, step 3 in this is we're going to determine who the other people around you are. And that's probably the funniest part of all. 4, I'm going to teach you how to adjust your approach based on your personality type and the personality type of the person that you are trying to manipulate, influence, the person you're trying to influence. And all of this will help you close more sales and actually just live a happier life, because you will no longer be frustrated because you just don't understand why your husband does understand. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Let's go. All right. The first personality type is the bull. So the bull is kind of likes to get to the bottom line. They want you to get to the point. They're very fast to decide. You'll notice they're very fast paced. They're very results oriented. They need to control the situation. So they're that person that in the conversation, they're interrupting you because they already know the answer, or they're interrupting you because they're bored with what you're saying, whatever. That's the bull, right? The thing to understand about the bull in the selling cycle is that prestige and status are extremely important to them. They don't even know that prestige and status are important to them. So these are people who walk around, and when I say this, you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about, because this person is very polarizing in our world and very to the point, and prestige and status. It's the person that walks around and says, what I just did yesterday was the absolute best thing ever. Nobody could ever compete with what I did. I drive the best car. Only BMWs are the only ones that somebody of my stature would drive. This is the absolute best cruise line in the whole wide world. Bulls are all about being attached to something that makes them feel elevated. They think they're elevated, so they like elevation. And straight to the point. Right now, I just want you to be thinking about somebody in your life who is a bull. So, Steph, who are you thinking about right now that's a bull, that's a get to the point, bottom line, 3-minute answer email?
I'm not saying this out loud because it's someone in the travel industry. It totally popped into my mind.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it out loud.
Okay. How about somebody in your personal life? Do you have somebody in your personal life?
Maybe Josie. Yeah, my old roommate was kind of.
Yep. Now, don't confuse bull with rudeness, because most of the time they're not rude. A good portion of the time they're just these people that know exactly what they want, and they expect you to give it to them. And it's not because they feel entitled; they just don't understand any differently. So I'll let you know a little
straight to the point. She's totally straight to the point.
Yep. And usually is not bothered with you being straight to the point. As a matter of fact, a bull is the easiest person to sell a very high-end anything to. Multiple cabins, the presidential suite at the all-inclusive, anything. They will pay a service fee. They don't care. Bulls are the ones that when I had my coaching practice, when I had my consulting practice, those are the ones that I got along with the best, because I would just tell them, listen, you're hiring me to tell you what to do, and you're going to do what I tell you to do. And I still say this to this day, just do what I tell you to do and everything's going to work out just fine. And bulls like that. Find bulls out there. They don't want to do the research themselves, right? They expect somebody else to take care of them, to sound like the perfect ideal client. They'll give you the credit card. They don't care. They just want you to take care of it. Bulls are very straight to the point. And I'm going to talk to you about the other personality types. And you're going to see how if you're dealing with a bull and you might be an owl, you have pissed this person off to no end right from A to Z. Right now, any owls that are listening had a clean sheet of paper, maybe in a fresh notebook that's only for notes during webinars. They most likely have multicolored pens as they're writing. They have a very specific way, maybe a box is something for them to do, a circle is a follow-up. They have a process. Owls love processes. Those are your engineers, your accountants, your people who are into the detail. They take a long time to make a decision. They're slower paced. They don't like it when you make a mistake, either themselves or yours, and they'll point it out to you. You've been with this person before. Maybe you've used the wrong adjective and they've corrected you. Maybe you've sent this beautiful card to them and they've called you back and said, "Thank you so very much for the card. By the way, you spelled sincerely wrong." These are owls, are kind of the nitpickers of the world. They're very time conscious. They want to make sure you're on time. They're early for appointments, and security is really important to an owl. Now, here's the thing that I will tell you about owls. Once you have sold them, once you have answered all of their questions, and trust me, they have lots of questions, because owls are motivated by not making a mistake, where bulls are motivated by being number one or being the first or being unique. Bulls like it when they're given opportunities to be number one, to be the best, the largest, the biggest, the most unique. Owls are motivated by not making a mistake. Now, here's our challenge. The majority of the travel advisors that I run into are either owls or one other personality type that I'm going to tell you about. So owls like that A to Z. Bulls hate that. Bulls just want you to tell them the price and how to put the credit card down. Owls feel like they need to tell them everything. And so you've turned off a bull if you are an owl. My husband is an owl. He does not make any purchasing decision over $50 unless he has looked at the Consumer Reports rating on it. And I'm not joking. If it doesn't have a on it, forget it. He's been shopping for life insurance. I kid you not, for 3 years. I'm like, dude, I'm old. I'm going to die. You need life insurance. So, have you met any owls before, Steph?
Well, I'm really surprised you're with an owl. That surprises me.
It's a great balance. It's a great balance because they take care of everything. I come home from the airport and I put my suitcase, actually, he puts my suitcase on the bed. I'm very organized, but the owl in him will unpack everything and put it exactly away where it's supposed to be. I need an owl in my life so that I can take of me.
Well, Dawn at TPI is an owl, I feel like.
Massively. Yes.
Yeah, she's so organized. I'm like, wow.
Yes. Elizabeth, who's our marketing and events manager, she's an owl.
Really?
I've never seen anybody like she can take notes. She can quote you from 4 years ago. It will irritate the heck out of you, but you're also comforted because it's like, listen, if Elizabeth said we said it, we said it. Trust me, got a note on it. So owls are awesome people to have around. So that's the owl. And for those of you that are listening, you might be chuckling as soon as I said you had a clean sheet of paper and you were writing. You're probably chuckling right now because that means you're an owl. We love us some owls. All right, the next one is the lamb.
Cute.
Sweet little lammies. Now, lambs they like to be your friend. They like to be given direction and shown support. They are much slower to decide and often change their mind. A lamb is someone who says, I would love for you to plan our vacation. Yes, let's get together. They take an hour and a half of your time. They say, yes, this looks good. I'm going to go home and talk to my husband. You try to hard close them. They get scared. Don't scare a lamb. They go home. They say, yes, we're ready to move forward. They set a follow-up appointment and then they cancel because the kid got sick. And then on Tuesday, when you set the next appointment, they call and they say that their next door neighbor needed them to take out the trash for them and that they can't make it. And then they stop returning your calls. And then they send you a letter in the mail or a card in the mail apologizing for taking up so much of your time that they're not going to be able to do the vacation afterwards. Lambs are the worst people to do business with because lambs never want to hurt your feelings. They understand when you make a mistake and they feel bad about their mistake. They avoid conflict at all costs. And conflict in a lamb's life is the word no thank you. That's conflict. They just told you no. They don't like to disappoint. Security and well-being of others is the most important thing to a lamb, and they are the peacemakers. Now, lambs are very strong individuals, do not get any of those things wrong, but what it is they're motivated by making sure everybody else is okay. Unfortunately, we have a lot of lambs that are travel advisors, and you love doing the planning, you love taking great care, but you never want to push to get the credit cards. You never want to close the sale. You never want to upsell because you're just concerned about them, and whatever is important to them is what you're there to do. Service is of top of mind with a lamb. When you're working with a lamb as a client, words like if you said to a lamb, hey, listen, you really deserve this vacation, they don't do well with that. They do better with, this sounds like, tell me more about the family memories that you were going to be able to create together because you're going to Cancun together. Share with me what's going to be most important to this trip for you. What is it that you're hoping your family walks away with? Those types of statements and questions are very important to a lamb because they show that you actually care about what they care about, which is everybody else. Does it sound
Mhm.
does it sound like manipulation yet, Steph?
No, it actually doesn't at all. It's
Good.
just like identifying what type of people are.
Right. So it's important to understand that. So owls and lambs get along really well because they spend a lot of time talking. They spend a lot.
Mhm.
The owl is analyzing everything while the lamb is considering everything. Okay. So they're really difficult to sell in the get-go, but once you get them, once they feel comfortable, it's trust. With an owl and a lamb, it's all about trust. Do they trust you? Do they trust the information you're sharing with them? So trust is very, very important. So the fourth personality is the tiger. And I love using Tigger the tiger because I'm a tiger, right? I'm a bull tiger, by the way. I'm straight to the point. I've got some owl. I'm organized. I have to be with my job, but I'm a bull tiger. I'm straight to the point. I tell you like it is. Everything's good. I need someone to take care of it for me. I don't care about the details. Just do it. Like, just do it. You've got permission. I give you permission. I'm a tiger as well because I prefer others to take care of me. I'm fast to decide. I'm not really late for appointments. I try not to be, but maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I think I was a minute late for our appointment today. They love recognition, right? So they love it when people say their name. When you use their name, that's recognition. When you post something on Facebook and you tag them, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm loved. They're very emotional. They like excitement. Prestige and status are important, but in a very different way than bulls. Tigers, I always like to think of like Valley Girl, like, oh my God, I love your purse. You'll know a tiger because they're constantly commenting on their hair, your shoes. You could be in the middle of a conversation, go, where'd you get that purse? Totally love that purse. Like, that's a tiger. When you meet them, they talk really fast. They usually make a lot of noise because they're wearing bangles, loud, and I'm being very stereotypical. I mean, obviously, I'm giving you the extremes, but they're pretty spot on. Social relationships are super important to a tiger. So they are the ones that if you've got, like, let's just use Virgin Voyages as an example. All tigers want to go on Virgin, all bulls and tigers want to go on Virgin Voyages. Okay. And why do you think that is, Steph? Now that you understand the 4 personality types, why would they all want to do that?
Yeah, I feel like Virgin Voyages has a certain feel to it, and that they're
Mhm.
presenting and very prestigious and cutting edge and like separate from the mainstream.
Right. So the bull likes it because it's prestige and status. They'll be one of the first ones on the Scarlet Lady. They're one of the very first ones. They're going to tell everybody about it. And the tiger likes it because it's like, oh my God, we're going to have so much fun. I cannot wait to figure out how to move the beds around. Right. So the bulls and the tigers are who they're really trying to attract. They're not really trying to track the owl and the lamb. The lamb is scared out of their minds with all of that stuff. That's too many people. My children can't come. How am I going to have some quiet? The owls are very detail oriented. They don't like the idea of like understanding the differences between a balcony and a sea terrace. So the owls are hung up on that. The lambs are scared of it. The bulls and the tigers are who they're trying to attract. So that's a perfect example of how a brand understands who they really want to be their clients and have made very sure that all processes and everything they do is centered around attracting the person that's going to best enjoy their product. So now I've explained all 4 different personality types. The next thing we need to do is we need to identify who you are. And you being the person that's listening, and of course, Steph, I want you to, in your mind, write down or just write down, are you a bull, an owl, a lamb, or a tiger? And I will tell you, everybody has a little bit of all 4, hopefully, that's listening. You got to have a little bit of lamb. Otherwise, you could never take care of anybody, which is just the core of what we do here in the industry. But tell me who the 2 core ones are. What are the top 2? that really stick out to you for being your personality type? Who are you, Steph?
Well, I'm really attracted to the tiger because I love Tigger and like his energy is palpable. And so I'm like, oh, so cute. Um, ah, I have to go with three, the owl, lamb, and tiger.
Yeah.
But
You don't think you're straight to the point?
well, sometimes the
Yeah.
Midwestern personality me, instead of being like, why didn't you do that? We'll be like, I was just thinking, is
Mhm.
there a way that we could get this to work a little bit better?
Yeah. So you're an owl tiger in my mind. You have a zest
Mhm.
for life. You'd have a strong, caring personality. So that's the lamb in you. But owls are also very caring because they want to make sure there's no mistakes happening. So that's a duty of care type thing. To me, you are an owl tiger. You're
Ah,
the yeah.
well,
Well,
that's
owl
really
and
exciting.
tiger, but yeah, you're definitely an owl and a tiger because your zest for life is unbelievable. Right. So now that we understand, and I don't know if people are allowed to like ask questions at this point or
Yeah,
for them to kind of type in who they are. Um,
I would love for people to be typing in the comments what they are.
yeah, because I want
Because
to know
I think that would be really, really fun.
too. Okay, good. So while people are typing that in, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to spend some time identifying. I've started to do this a little bit, but we're going to spend some time identifying each personality type. And then how do you irritate and turn off the other ones because of your personality type? And what do you need to do or be aware of when dealing with those? So, Steph, just let me know if anyone has typed anything in so
I
that.
think they have. Let's see. Let's see. We're we're communicating via Slack on the phone, so it's like this roundabout way of doing things.
Got it, got it. That's okay. It's all right.
Oh, we've got a bull and a lamb,
Mm,
with
that's an interesting
Judy.
combination.
Yeah, she admitted it's odd.
Yeah.
Um, Taylor is an owl and a tiger. Cheryl, owl and a bull.
Mm,
Um, a lamb and an owl with Emily. A bull owl with AF, and owl and tiger with Starry's Vacations.
okay.
Discount that.
Sorry. So those that thought that they were a lamb, a bull and a lamb, and a bull and an owl, I think what you probably more are a very strong personality lamb, very convicted. If you said you were a bull lamb, a very convicted lamb, which is really a great combination. And the bull owl, it's hard to want detail and not want detail at the same time. I think you're probably a very strong personality owl, which is great because owls in general don't like to be wrong, right? So sometimes that means it converts to I'm never wrong. I'm always right, which, we don't like that as a personality trait, right? You got to be open to everybody else. So here's what I want to do. I want to start with the bulls. All of you who are bulls, kind of raise your hand. You're the bull personality.
We have a lot of these, by the way. A lot
Yes.
of bull owls.
Good, good, good. Okay, so I think it is they're strong owls that want to that are just strong-willed. I don't think they're really bulls and owls. They're either bulls that are just hyper organized, right? It's one or the other. And I'm very organized. I'll just tell you, I'm an extremely organized person. I can think the right side of my brain and the left side of my brain. My desk is always clean. My bed is always made, but I don't need all those details to make a decision, right? So a true bull is someone who's like, so if you're a bull personality and you're a salesperson, because let's just put our sales hats on for a second. So you're a bull personality and you're talking to an owl and you're trying to rush an owl through the process. Or you get agitated because the owl keeps sending you email after email after email with 15 more questions. You're dealing with an owl. Your best bet with an owl, the bulls out there, is to always ask the question, is there anything else I can answer for you? These are the statements. Write these down when you're working with an owl. It doesn't matter who your personality is. When you're working with an owl, you want to say things like, I will walk you through this step by step. I have a 27-step process that I have mastered over the last 10 years in selling travel. Hey, Mr. Owl, great news. I've taken every certification course that Royal Caribbean offers. Hey, Owl, great news. I'm an expert in the Sandals resorts. I'll be able to answer any and all of your questions. Please send them to me in a Word document. If you can get them into an Excel document, owls are just like, oh my God, these people know me, they get me. Owls love data. As a bull, you don't like a lot of data. You can make a fast decision based on your gut reaction, a little bit of information, the fact that you know how it's going to make you feel, so on and so forth. So if you're a bull, you get agitated with that owl that's asking for all of this. Slow down and realize I'm dealing with a detail oriented person. I need to give them all the details. Once you do this, bulls, owls will be your clients for life and they will tell everybody they know about you. Does that make sense? So the
Mm-hmm.
key to an owl is detail and data. So as a bull, you usually don't like that. You've got to convert. Bulls, if you're talking to tigers, no big deal. Tigers and you get along just fine. You're like having a good time. You're a bull. You're going, hey girl, just give me the credit card. Yeah, I take American Express. Yes, you can take a picture of it and send it to me. I'm just joking. Listen, they don't understand technology sometimes or they get agitated with it. Send them the link. You got to send it to them multiple times sometimes. And it's just because they get busy. Here, go on the link, click on it. I'll stay on the phone with you while you fill out the form, right? Like if you have to do that with tigers. So bulls, just understand you and tigers get along just fine, but tigers just need a little bit more hand holding so that they can get the job done.
They have ADHD.
Yeah, totally, 100%. As a matter of fact, today Bridget had sent me a link from the other day, so I'm like, oh, 4 minutes before I'm supposed to be on, I'm clicking the wrong link. Bridget's like, oh, here's the new link. Thank you, bing, I'm in. Like, please look in your email that I sent to you yesterday at 11:37 p.m. That would be, or 11:37 a.m. That would be a no bueno for me, right? So she understood how to deal with a tiger. I just need the information so I can click it. Bull personalities, when you're working with lambs, you scare them to death. You have bulls and tigers scare lambs. Now, when I say scared, what I mean is the lamb's like, oh boy, I don't want to interrupt this person because they're constantly interrupting me. I don't think they understand how important this is to me. With lambs, when you encounter a lamb, you've got to know that you have to slow your pace down. You have to speak a little quieter, and then you have to ask more emotionally charged questions. One of my most favorite questions that I tell everybody to ask in the sales process is, what is motivating you to go on this trip? What is motivating you to go on this trip? When you ask a lamb this, they will tell you the entire story. They will fill in every gap you didn't even know you needed to know until now, but now you realize you need to know it. You will be able to cut down on all the questions, a lot of the qualifying questions, because a lamb will tell you the full story. Understand that lambs will not be hard closed. If you try to use your same closing technique with a lamb, you will fail 9 times out of 10. Unless you've been on the phone with them for an hour and a half, or you've had a whole full-on lunch and you've gone to each other's baby showers. Like, a lamb does not like to be sold, so to speak. So just recognize we have bulls and tigers have very strong personalities, very loud personalities, and lambs don't like that. Lambs need people who are going to listen to them, ask questions. Active listening is very, very important to a lamb. It shows respect and care of duty. Make sense?
Yeah, I'm really curious for those that are watching today. If you're, as you're going through this and Jen is going through the different types, if in your mind you're like, oh, that's the Thompson family for sure. And if you, yeah, so go ahead and type in the comments if you have some clients that are just popping up in your mind and you're like, oh, I've been dealing with these totally wrong. I need to be more patient. I'd be curious to hear that.
Yeah, and that's what happens, Steph. Whenever I do this live, you could see all the heads starting to nod, going, "Oh my gosh, that's right. No wonder." And that's why I'm telling you, as soon as you get it, and you will adjust the words. For lambs, it's the instead of saying, hey, your family enjoys deserves this trip. Like with an owl wants you to say something like, well, now we've covered our 27 piece qualifying questionnaire. Our next step is blah blah blah. With a lamb, that same thing is, so Susie, it looks like we've covered a lot of the areas that are really important to you. I want to make sure I've covered everything. What else is important to you? With an owl is, what other questions can I ask? What other questions
Mhm.
can I answer for you? It's the same question, just twisted a little differently.
Yes, we definitely have people that are nodding in our virtual
Mhm.
audience and saying, "Oh, I totally get. That's why we had trouble scheduling the trip to Dallas." Like
Yes.
it's all becoming clear.
Yes. So if you know that going in and you adjust your personality, and I learned these four personality skills like 15 years ago when I used to sell new homes. I was in new home sales. And anytime a family would come in, a couple would come in, which by the way, the majority of the time, the husband and the wife or the couple are opposites. Like my husband is an owl lamb and I am a bull tiger. You can't get any more opposite than my husband and I, but yet we make a great couple. Going to be celebrating 20 years of marriage in May and together for 27. And so
Yay.
balance. Yeah. So it used to be that whenever somebody would walk in and as I got their information, I would put like BO or not like body odor. I just realized what I said, but like, husband's a bull, BL, BT, OL, whatever. I'd put that next to their name so that when I was talking to them, even when I was in the same conversation with them, I knew how to adjust to each one and say the exact same thing all in one sentence and in a way that helps them feel like I'm speaking their language.
Super smart. I like that.
Yeah, and I
It
would
needs
do
to be
that
a
for
field.
people.
Yeah, it needs to be a field in the CRMs and client base.
I know I need to write that down. Well, we're creating our own CRM at TPI, so I can actually add that in there.
I love it.
I know, exactly. So that's how bulls can scare off some of the other people or attract other people. Owls, I need to speak to you next. People, when you're dealing with a bull, they don't care about all those details. Now, I know they need to make sure they have their real ID and that they show up, they pull out their passport and that information is valid. There are certain details that it's really important that all your travelers need to have. It's the way you send that information over to them. So, owls recognize you like a lot of data. And so you'll tend to type a lot in your email and they won't read any of it. Have you ever had a client come back to you and say, or you said, hey, I sent it to you in an email. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I got that. And you're like, it's like on paragraph number 3, sentence number 2. They never got past the first 2 sentences. So it's okay to give the data, but when you're working with a when you're working with a bull and a tiger, my owl friends out there, whatever is the most important information is what you put up top. And you put it in all bold and you cap it and you say, I have 3 things you must agree to. 1, 2, 3. Then the next thing, if it's a lot of information, is these 4 things are important for your travel. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you send it to them 5 times. Like one time on a Tuesday. If you don't get an answer back, send it to them again. Don't rely on them to go back into their email. We do business with a local Google Analytics and SEO, Google AdWords company. And those people understand my personality so much. They'll send me an email and they send me piecemeal information. And even in the subject line, they'll say something like Google AdWords Part 1. And then it'll only have a little bit of information. It'll be good. It'll be like Google AdWords February Part 1, Google AdWords February Part 2, because they know I'm not going to read it all. And they know that I'm so busy. And so then when I do want to go back, I know I've got number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. That's somebody who cares enough about my personality that they change the way they communicate. With their other clients, I'm sure they don't have to do that, but their other tigers, they do. Their lambs, they could do it all. They could send a novel over and the lamb is going to read every bit. They're going to email you back and compliment you on everything. So owls, understand that when you're talking to a bull and you're talking to a tiger, you can get right to the close. When it comes to selling, just get right to the close. Ask the qualifying questions. All right, Mr. Bull, here's what it is based on what we talked about. This is the largest suite in the price range that you said that you wanted to stay in. I think we can bump you up a bit. You want to do it? Okay, good. We're going to bump you up to the presidential suite. Fantastic. Now, do you want me to go ahead and just book your flights for you? Yes, I do. Fantastic. How about transfers? I know you don't want to drive to the airport. Great. I'm going to put together those transfers. We're going to get you back from the airport. You do it like this. Boom, 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 boom. You do that with a bull and a tiger. It's still you doing all the details, Mr. Owl, but you do that with a bull and a tiger. They're going to go, oh my God, thank you. Here's my credit card. Just take care of it. Owls, because you do not like to be sold that way, because you like all the data and the detail, do not understand that about bulls and tigers. So if you're dealing with a bull and a tiger, just bottom line it for them. Don't get out of your owlness and instead take great care of them, because you know how to do that through your detail, but get to the bottom line. Any thoughts on that, Steph?
No, we have people coming in here and just saying that they're sold a bull client on an Asia cruise with Seabourn didn't want any details. And Robin is saying can completely see the different types in my clients.
Yep. And so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. If you're dealing with a bull, just give them the biggest. Start with the biggest. Like, go for it. Just go for it, because chances are they're going to say yes. And if they don't say yes, if they go, are you kidding me, girlfriend? There's no way I'm spending $75,000 on this trip. Okay, well, tell me what you want. I know you like nice things. Tell me what you want to spend. Tell me what's reasonable to you at this point, because I'm telling you, anything less than this $50,000 option, you're going to be mad at me, and I'm not going to steer you the wrong way. And I promise you, they'll say yes. Every time a bull walked in the door, I sold a house on the first visit. The first time they walked in the door, $750,000 custom home. I could close them on day one. Bulls are easy.
What about if it's a bull that doesn't have a lot of money? Is that a possibility?
Sure. Bulls usually find a way to have money, and that's a very general statement. But if they don't have a lot of money, they're probably very straightforward with you about that. I only have $1,000. What can you do for me?
Mm-hmm.
Just meet that need. For $1,000, I can get you, whatever, a Carnival cruise out of Galveston. For $1,000, that's what I can get you. Just be straightforward. And then you don't have to have a long conversation. You're not going to make a big commission on it anyway, right? So don't worry about going all over the place. Just close them. They want to be closed, I promise you. Tigers too, because tigers don't even know you're closing them. They're like, whoa. I'm a tiger. Okay, fantastic. What do you want? Okay, here you go. Okay, just remind me when you can ask my team. You can ask anybody. And Steph, I think you've seen this in action, because you've seen me with some of my team members. They watch me as I cross the street, because I'm not even paying attention. I'll land in an airport, and then I go to my phone, and thank God we have a great air department here who books my hotels as well. I go to my phone, I click on my one little folder, and that tells me where I'm staying. I have no idea where I'm going. I land, go to baggage claim, then that's when I figure out what hotel.
No, I totally believe this. This is, for everyone that's watching, Jen and I had met, we'd kind of known each other via email, but we met last summer in person finally. And we had chatted, and then we were out at dinner together with just like four of us, and Jen's like, and who are you?
Literally, Steph and I have been best friends via email and on the phone. And oh my God, I love you. I admire you. Now tell me more about you. Who are you, Steph? And she's like, I'm Steph Lee. And I'm like, oh my God.
I know. Jen's like, I am so
embarrassed. Unbelievably embarrassed. But don't take offense. And Steph, thank God she didn't. You didn't. You were kind of like, I can't believe you don't know who I am. We've been talking.
No, I was just like, this is really, really funny. Yeah. She is so energetic.
Yeah. It's just, there's only so much room in this hair and head of mine. But that doesn't mean I'm not smart. I'm super, super smart. I know what I'm talking about. But my personality is such that, and so don't judge a book by its cover. So those are my owls. So owls, feel free to type in any questions, of any objections that you can't seem to overcome, or people that kind of really like turn you off that you don't understand how to work with. Type those in and I'll be happy to answer them. I just want to make sure we're still on time. See, I lose track of time. Okay. Lambs. Now, there are a lot of lambs in the travel industry. You are going to be the most challenged when it comes to sales. You will be the most memorable when it comes to service. Lambs are the ones that will gain more referrals than anybody else, because of your natural tendency to always want to take care of everybody else, everything you do exudes care and concern, which is great. From a salesperson standpoint, though, you are challenged with asking for the credit card. You feel bad when you call to follow up. I hear Lamb say things like, I don't want to bother them. I hear them say things like, they'll call me if they're interested. Oh my goodness, they didn't return my email. I must have turned them off. If you are a Lamb out there and you're listening to this, I'm sure you're nodding your head. Don't be embarrassed. It happens all the time. It doesn't matter the industry.
Is this now with lambs, because we're just doing our fee survey right now, so this is perfect timing.
Yeah.
Are they the ones that really, really struggle with charging a fee for their services?
Yes.
Are there any other ones that would be?
Owls.
Mhm.
And for a different reason. Lambs have a tough time charging for their service because they just can't even and again, I'm saying things in a very broad, what's the word, like black and white perspective. So don't take offense to it. But lambs don't even understand why anybody would pay them anything to do what they love to do.
Mhm.
I say this because every industry I've ever been in has the same issue. It does not matter the industry. It does not matter what you're selling. If you are an entrepreneur, and it's only entrepreneurs, because if you work for a company, you certainly feel like you should get the money that you're owed. I'll tell you a funny story. There's somebody that I worked with who was in a equal executive position that I was in at the time. And we weren't talking about how much one another makes, but my counterpart said to me, he goes, yeah, I told them they don't need to give me a raise. I make plenty of money. I was like, what the tubby? What? Say what? I don't think so. And he's a lamb. And so he really felt like he didn't need to take any more money from the organization because he made plenty of money and there was just no reason. Now, this is not a not for profit. It wasn't like he was working for some, like he was taking money out of starving children, right? And I was flabbergasted. But that is a typical lamb thing to think. Most don't act on it, but that's a typical lamb thing to think that I love what I do. I don't necessarily need to get paid to do it. Very black and white statement that I'm making once again. So with a lamb, that's why it's tough for them to charge those service fees, Steph. It's also tough for a lamb to ask for the credit card. They're waiting for the client to give it to them to say yes on their behalf. And here's my message to you, my lamb friends. You are doing
Emily, listen up. This is
Yeah.
Emily writing in that charging a fee is terrifying, but she sees that it's necessary.
It is. It's necessary. And it's a respect. Again, if you're working with a bull, they don't care. You're working with an owl, as long as you justify it. You're working with a tiger, they didn't even know you charged them a service fee. Okay. So let's put it on there. It's as simple as that. I mean, they're not reading anything, I promise you. So lambs, hear me clearly. This is how you can overcome this. I'm going to share a quick story with you that will help you understand this. Remember I told you I used to work in real estate and I used to sell new homes. And I worked in this one neighborhood and there was this big lot. Okay, the biggest home site we had in the community. And it was the one that could hold the biggest home, right? And you could put a pool on it. It had a long driveway. It was in a cul-de-sac. It was like pie shaped. It was like the best lot in the entire neighborhood. And there was only one like this. So this bull comes into my office and he's like, literally as he walks in, he's like, hand to my face, don't talk to me. I'm just going to go look at the models. I'll let you know if I have any questions. So I let him go on his merry little way. And then I followed him, of course, and just kind of sat back. And I could tell the wife was a lamb. So I was talking to her a little bit, blah, blah, blah. So he comes back and he goes, okay, we like this house. How much is this house? And I said, well, it depends on the lot that you choose. He goes, okay, and I said, I bet you want the biggest lot, right? You have 3 kids. I heard you say, yeah, we have 3 young kids. I'm like, let me take you to the biggest lot. So I'm treating him like a bull. Take him to the lot. He loves it. I go hard close. All right. The next thing that we need to do together, and I always use the word we whenever I'm in the selling cycle. It's another tip. Always use we. The next thing we need to do, I said, well, the next thing we need to do is you need to go ahead and put down a deposit on this lot because today's Thursday. And over the weekend, I promise you it'll be gone. This bull wasn't having it, right? He just wasn't having it. Nope, nope, nope. You're trying to hard close me. That's not how I operate. And I'm like, okay. And he said, don't call me. I've put my phone number down, but do not call me. I said, okay, I won't call you. Now, I'm not a lamb. Trust me, I'm not a lamb. But this guy, I was like, you know what? He's not even worth my energy and my effort because he was just rude to me. So sure enough, Saturday comes around and another family comes in and they love the home site, they love the house, and they've gone ahead and put a deposit down on that lot. On Sunday, Mr. Bull and his sweet lammy wife come in and he's like, all right, I've got my checkbook. I'm ready to move forward. And I said, well, we sold it. And he's like, what? And I said, yeah, we sold it. And he goes, why didn't you call me? I said, well, you told me not to call you. Like you gave me specific instructions not to call you. He started yelling at me and the wife was hitting him. I can't believe it. We've lost the house. Da, 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 da. I did a disservice to that gentleman because I let him tell me what he was ready for next. Okay. He had a strong personality. In the lamb world, everybody's got a strong personality to you. In the lamb world, what happens is if you don't walk them down that path, if you don't help them make the decision, if you don't get the credit card, if you don't follow up in 2 hours because that's when you've set up for the wife to get on the phone or vice versa, if you don't walk them through that and ask that closing question, they could lose the one thing you've just identified as being the best option for them. This family lost the perfect home on the perfect lot in the perfect neighborhood in the perfect school district with the perfect commute to work. They lost it all because I did not say, look, we need to put a deposit down because it is going to go. And I know you think I'm hard closing you, but I'm not. In the lamb world, you have to work a little bit against your natural personality and ask for that because you owe it to them. People are waiting on you to be the professional that you are. You are a professional. They need you to help them make that decision. That's my speech that I give to all lambs.
Heart.
What are your thoughts on that, people? Or did the lambs hang up? Don't be mad at me.
No, they're very excited. They're listening, taking notes, and they Judy had said she charges a fee, and they say really why, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
you have to walk them through why. Here's the, doing business with me or me doing all this, me doing this work for you on behalf of your family. There is the way I get compensated is through a little bit through this and a little bit, however you say it, explain it to them and they'll be okay with it. If you just say I charge a service fee and you don't give a story behind it or reason behind it, the owl's never going to pay it. The bull is going to be like, I don't believe it. Tigers didn't even know you said it. Okay. But lamb, you have to position a service fee appropriately. You have to kind of like, as my mom used to say, round your shoulders back and say it with confidence. And if you don't believe in charging the service fee, if you don't understand why you're charging it, you're never going to be able to convince anyone why you're charging a service fee. I think it's really important to understand that.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect.
Yep. So tigers, if you're a tiger, I haven't met a lot of true tiger travel advisors because you really have to be detail oriented. But if you are working with a tiger or you are a tiger, the great news about tigers is they'll shout it from the rooftops. They'll post it on Instagram. You could say, listen, it would mean the world to me if you were to promote this, and they will tell everybody about it. They'll wear the t-shirt. They'll do it all. But tigers, I don't find a lot of true tigers that are travel advisors because it's just too difficult of job. You guys have a really difficult job. What you do is tough. You run a business. That's tough. You sell a variety of different products. That's tough. You're in an industry that people still think you're dead, which you're not. There's just a lot of things that you guys are challenged with. But I'm hoping understanding these 4 different personality types and adjusting your approach on the very next phone call that you get, the very next email, even an email, you can tell who's a bull, an owl, a lamb, or a tiger. I promise you, you'll start laughing out loud because you'll clearly see it. If you adjust your approach, I promise you that you'll be speaking their language, and that's what we need to be able to connect to build that rapport and trust for people to say yes to whatever the offering is that you're presenting to them.
Mm-hmm. Are there other resources you can recommend for people that are interested in learning more about this?
Yes, there was the gentleman that created this. His name is Charles Clark. I don't even know if he's alive anymore, but if you just Google Charles Clark with an E on the end of Clark, bulls, owls, lambs, and tigers, you should find his website. It's a very old website. Like I said, I don't even know if he's around anymore. If you read anything, just Google anything about the 4 basic personality types. This has been given in a variety of different ways. I like
Mhm.
this one the best because it's easy to remember.
I like the animals. They're really cute because I've seen it with the squares, the squiggles, the
Yeah.
circles,
And there's
and
another one with animals that has like a peacock and an eagle. And I don't know. I just do better when I can see Tigger the tiger on there.
no, totally. These are really cute.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You can see what drives me. Very cute. Love it.
Yeah. Oh, really? That tiger just came out in you. Love it. Colors. See, I'll tell you, my presentation is designed for all 4 personality types. This slide right here was for the owl. They like a process: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. They wrote
Mhm.
it down probably when I said it. You're all giggling at yourselves, I guarantee you. Bulls like this because at the very bottom it says get to the point. They love it. Owls, see, it's everything about this. It's big. It's got a bright color for the tigers. It's got a caricature for the tigers. It's the same fonts throughout, so the owls really appreciate that. And the bulls like the fact that I put one piece of information per slide.
Mhm. Yes, we have Dawn was saying that she's a bull. She charges higher fees than most, works by referral only, handles 24/7 emergencies herself,
Yep.
and now she understands why most of her clients are bulls.
Right. Exactly. And Dawn, thank you for bringing that up. I love that. When I had my own consulting practice, my website was strictly to attract bulls and tigers. That's all now listen, I still got owls and lambs because I'm just fabulous and everybody wanted to work with me. Is that a bull statement or what, right? I my whole website, hard lines, very to the point, very conversational type verbiage, attracted bulls and tigers because I knew bulls and tigers would be my best clients because they would do what I told them to do. I could charge them what I needed to charge them fairly, obviously. And I knew they would take the steps and what I had given them and they would do something with it, which would then in turn create referrals for me. So, Dawn, you're very smart. If you're a bull, you're naturally attracting bulls. And so, if you're a lamb and you want to naturally attract people who are like that, understand your sales process and your marketing needs to be very lammy like. Just be the lamb that you are if that's who you want to attract. At TPI, if you go to our website, you'll see it's very conversational. It has a little bit of everything. You'll see some bull mentality in there, big, bold, easy to understand. Click here, let's go. Tiger, there's colors, fun pictures. Owls, because there's tabs that you can click on, and lambs, because we talk about family. We just do it naturally. I naturally do it now because that's how I always think. How can I attract and serve all 4 personality types all in one sentence?
hmm Well, we have a couple minutes for questions, and we have one from Judy. She, first of all, says, so glad she joined the webinar. And Judy, we're so glad you joined too.
Thank you,
Um,
Judy.
her question is, I tell my clients I have a fee when I meet them, not on the phone or email. Is that correct?
Well, do you get the pushback on the fee? If you don't get pushback on the fee, then yes, it's correct. If you get pushback and you find yourself having to explain the fee quite a bit, then no, it's not. It's as simple as that. There is no right or wrong. Tell me how it works out for you. A lot of times, I'm a huge believer in this, especially in this industry. That face to face interaction or that over the phone interaction is so very important to build rapport and trust. And that is the number one thing you need to nail. Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. That's the number one. Excuse me. My eyelash almost came off. Oh my goodness. That's the number one thing you need to nail in the sales process is rapport and trust. So you've got to ask yourself a question, Judy. Do you feel like you are breaking rapport and trust by not being upfront? Or do you feel like once you get in front of them, that's the best time to do the fee? Really up to what works for you and doesn't work for you.
That's great. We'll wait and see. I see there might be a couple more questions coming in that are being sent our way.
I got all day. It's no
So
problem.
how long does it take you, Jen, when you meet someone before you can like pin down what cute animal they are?
I usually, if I meet them face to face, it's usually by the handshake or what they're wearing or how they say hello. It's immediate. A bull, will give you a hand. They'll put their hand out, they'll shake your hand, and they'll flip it over. I don't know if you guys can see me, but they literally take your hand and flip it over. I know I'm working with a bull. Lambs tend to be like they're huggers. Tigers are in it like a big hug. But what's going on, girl? Like, I mean, let's go, let's do this. Bulls usually stand pretty tall, that handshake. Owls, sometimes I don't even know they're there, but if I meet them and they do a lot of nodding of their head, to me, that's an owl or a lamb. If they nod their head quite a bit and they don't interrupt me.
And they're taking notes on what you're saying.
Oh, girl. I'm telling you, owls crack me up. I can spot an owl a mile away.
It's really funny because I'm just doing my taxes and I have like 9 spreadsheets open before this webinar. And I was like, I love spreadsheets, but I hate them right now so much.
Yeah, but you're an owl. You're very detailed. My husband's got stacks. He's got piles. I would have had that done by a CPA, like, I don't know, a month ago. Like I pay people to do stuff, but he stays at home. He doesn't work. So that's his job, but it'll take him 4 weeks to do something that would take me 4 hours to do. So we're all very different. You can usually tell by the way they're dressed. Owls are very usually put together, usually pretty well put together. Tigers usually make a lot of noise. If they're women, they have like bracelets and bright lipstick, and you can usually just tell right away. In emails, you can tell immediately.
Yeah.
I want to go to Cancun. Get me there. Here's all the list of places I've already researched.
Yeah.
Links. They send you the links.
So Mary Fisher feels like she has a little of all 4 types. How can she narrow it down?
Most of us do, Mary. Most of us have a little bit of all 4. So my question to you is, which is the one that comes out when you're wanting to make a decision? And actually, Mary, maybe the better way to answer that is, what are you really motivated by? Are you motivated by prestige and status? Are you motivated to make sure you don't make a mistake? Are you motivated to make sure everyone else is okay? Or are you motivated to have fun in life? Because life is just fun and it should be a good time. Is joy the number one thing? I think if you answer that, you'll know who your key person is. Again, most of us have a little bit of all 4. If we didn't have lamb in us, all of us need to have a little bit of lamb. Otherwise, we're just robots, right? And we're just mean people and we have no care for anybody else. I mean, everybody's got some lamb in them. It's whether or not that's their key personality trait, if that's the number one thing that motivates them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know Todd's struggling with that too. So if that doesn't answer it for you, and I hope it does, feel free to reach out. Feel free to reach out to me now that I've watched this webinar. I feel like I'm an expert, and so I can pinpoint it by your email you send me.
Exactly.
That would be a really fun experiment. Anyhow.
Yeah. Trust me, I'll know exactly what the questions will be and how they will be. Chances are you're a lamb or an owl if you're asking that question.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of a key indicator. Owls, because they don't like to be wrong. Mm-hmm. They want to get it right. So they choose all 4 because they don't want to be wrong.
All right. Well, I think we're kind of wrapping things up. If you do have any remaining questions for Jen, feel free to reach out to Jen. She's everywhere online.
Or you just put up there. Can you see my final slide? There's my email, my phone number. You're welcome to text me. I want you to move fiercely forward this year in your business, but you're welcome to email or text me or call me or anything.
Yeah, and just to say hi. Feel free to do that too.
Absolutely. I'm a tiger. I'll take
it. Yes, and I know that Judy, you still had some questions on the fees. Make sure to take our fee survey too, because it seems like, and look for the results on that. It'll be coming out in a couple of months. Hopefully that can give you some confidence on charging fees, because I know that it's maybe you're more lammy and a little bit afraid to charge the fees, but having these hard statistics behind it on how many charge fees and how much and what for, may be able to give you some of that confidence that you're looking for. So, well, Jen, thank you so much. That was so wonderful. It was so good to see your face again.
You do my stuff. I love it.
Yay. And thank you to everyone for joining us. We will chat with you all soon.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
All right.